Robert, when members of the religion of peace refer to Jews as pigs and apes, when Hamas refers to them as pigs and apes, it's just not off the top of their head. Quran chapter 2 verses 63 to 66, chapter 5 verses 59 to 60, chapter 7 verse 166. Their holy book refers to Jews as pigs and apes. Can you tell us a little bit about this? I don't think that this is a path to peace.
Yeah, that's what the Quran says. And the Hadith make it even worse because there are traditions where Muhammad says that the Jews were turned into rats. And
But Robert, what does that mean that they're apes and pigs? That they're descended from apes and pigs or that they are apes and pigs? Because they look human to me.
well, believe it or
So,
not, Islamic scholars actually argue about this.
okay.
Disagreements about it in the Islamic world as to whether it's metaphorical and that they're just dehumanized people under the guise of human beings, or
Okay.
whether there are actual apes. When Admiral Sir Richard Burton took the pilgrimage to Mecca, he took the guise of a Pashtun physician and made the pilgrimage to Mecca in 1852 because he wanted to see what it was like for Muslims, not converts, but ordinary Muslims, to make the pilgrimage to Mecca. When he's going through Arabia, he saw some monkeys that he didn't recognize. He was a great naturalist, and he knew the species of various monkeys, but he didn't know this one. And so he asked some of the Arabs who were guiding him through Arabia, and they said, "Oh, those are the Jews that Allah transformed." And so they thought that it was a literal physical transformation. And nowadays, you find Hamas spokesmen and many others referring to Jews on a more or less routine basis as the children of apes and pigs.
But how, but logically, how can they be the children of apes and pigs if they're human?
Well, it's only an appearance.
So in Islam, they really believe that Jews are apes and pigs, but that they are camouflaged by a human appearance?
Yeah, that it's a transformation so that they have bestial appetites and bestial perspectives. And this is one of the reasons why it's so important for the Muslims to fight against them and to try to limit their influence because it's dehumanizing because they are not human themselves.
What anti Israel figures do you know? What leaders of the Muslim world do you know that have tried to confront this teaching and admit that this is a bad thing and leads to anti Semitism and have tried to have some kind of reform or to eliminate this out of Islamic understanding?
Oh, none of them. Zero. That doesn't exist because you'd be going up against the Quran. And a Muslim can't stand up and say the Quran is wrong because then he's an apostate or a heretic and he's going to be subject to a death sentence himself.
But so when they go on and on and on about the occupation, they're kind of avoiding the real issue, right?
Well, sure. Yeah. See, that's actually one of the key points in the Palestinian delusion is that people are wrongly understanding what this conflict is all about. And that's precisely because, in the first place, the Palestinian Arabs and their allies have been very skillful and clever and canny in portraying it and in Marxist terms as a struggle of the oppressed against the oppressor, or the indigenous people against the colonialist, when actually what it is a classic Islamic jihad. And so they have obfuscated for the general public what a jihad is. And the US government and all the other governments of the West are afraid to even speak about jihad. And they don't have any strategy for combating it. They don't even recognize that the global jihad exists. And then they come to the Israeli Palestinian conflict and they see it in the terms that the Palestinians are speaking about to the West, about oppression and occupation and so on, and they think, okay, if we just have the Israelis give up some land and establish a Palestinian state, then everything will be okay. If the analysts in the West understood that it was a jihad, they would never fall for that, because they would know that the jihad imperative is maximalist and wants 100% of Israel. It's not drive them out from where they drove you out, or I mean, that is, it's not drive them out of part of what they drove you out. It's drive them out from where they drove you out, all of it. And so any establishment of a Palestinian state, the West will think, oh, this is going to solve the problem and now there will be peace. And the jihadis will know that the Palestinian state is just a stepping stone to further attacks on what's left of Israel, just as the withdrawal from Gaza was in 2005.